You could narrow it down to the book of Luke, the Gospel, around the first chapter. Yes. We have been blessed enormously. And that is what this occasion is about. Many universities have a lot of money.
Uganda.
But they have not been able to do what Uganda Martyrs University has been able to do. This is a private university. It takes care of itself. That's why I say the Magnificat would be in order. I am not going to recite it, but I can only say that my soul magnifies the Lord. The reasons for all of us thanking God have been given in the previous speeches. We planted a tree. This is one of the greenest spaces in Uganda. In a country which thinks development means concrete, we have launched a building in record time. We had a small ceremony to raise some little funds for the low block. Today, we can say it is going to be open very soon for students. There are projects which have taken a lot of money in this blessed republic, but the walls have not yet gone above the iron sheets that are around in them. And then the benches. We thank all the donors. The people who brought the benches told me that they just discovered that the benches are 22, just like the Uganda Martyrs. Maybe they should name each of them after the Uganda Martyrs. It is my great pleasure to congratulate you all on this, the 30th anniversary of the university. It's a shining example of both change and continuity, which is what the Catholic Church personifies. There are things we change about our church and will never change about our church. And I believe that is what a stable society should be like. When I first visited London, my boss took me to the underground, where there are trains which move under the ground. And then I heard a voice on the loudspeaker, "Mind the gap! Mind the gap!" And I wondered, I looked at my feet. What gap? Mind the gap! And then I saw what was around me, and I realized that the announcer was telling us to mind the gap between the platform and the train. There is a small gap. The platform is solid, built. It does not move. It is the train which moves. Therefore, since we are talking about ethics, mind the gap between what does not move, which must remain constant in your life, like the true north of the compass. Whenever you turn, it will tell you, doesn't matter where you're going, just know that the true north is this way. And then there are many things which move. So my first message to you is, mind the gap. And those who don't mind the gap are the ones who become corrupt. They are the ones who fiddle with decision making. And they are the ones whose words cannot be relied upon because they don't mind the gap. Fortunately, this is an institution built firmly on the teachings of our Lord. The only thing which was not changing was that they fixed their eyes on him, apart from one, of course, who you know very well. One on whose shoulders he left the burden of establishing his church had his moments of doubt, but always remembered. You know him, Peter. What a character. It will give you hope that if you know who you are and you have a worldview which is based on truth and virtue and wisdom, as our motto says, chances are that you will not be lost forever. It doesn't mean you will not be lost, but there's a guarantee that you will be found. And that's what matters. Provided you keep the network on. The network connected to the Lord. Peter was also lost. You remember that incident? First of all, he did not understand what the war was about. He thought it was a war with swords and knives. So when somebody touched his master, he picked out his sword and cut off the aggressor's ear, and then waited for a medal from the commander-in-chief. Instead, the commander-in-chief rebuked him and starts treating the enemy. This is a university whose foundation are those teachings which are about turning the world upside down, which in reality means the right side up. This is a university which promises to work on you from the inside outside. Inside out,
Uganda.
not outside in.
Uganda Martyrs University. Nkozi.
Peter even denied his Lord. He assured that woman who tried to tell others around the fire that, you know, I think I saw that fellow there with the prisoner. And Peter said, Madam, in case you just don't want me to warm myself around your fire, you tell me. But you can't associate me with that prisoner. Of course, it's not written in those very words. That's my version. And he did it consistently 3 times until the cock crowed. And then he remembered and he wept. That means he was lost and he was found. See that even when you are lost, you will be found. Change and continuity, we have witnessed it here. 3 former vice chancellors here, shaking hands and hugging. It makes our country to face a big moral challenge. We have never done it. Whenever one president is arriving to take charge, the others are departing in disgrace and disarray. We have something to learn from here. That this is an institution which is capable of managing transition. Now that is the work that I'm attempting to do. For the time being, I'm like a voice in the wilderness, but I'm not shut up. After all, I don't have to finish the job. The job may finish me. But the job will be finished. even here, though my degree has been abolished. In democracy and development. And I was also a pioneer of that class, not of the university. And we had very interesting lecturers. Professor Lejeune was always walking. I don't know when he sat in his office. Whenever we moved, he was always walking around. Professor Carabine was there. Our course was introduced on demand. The predecessor in the Democratic Party, Dr. Paul Kawanga Semongere, the Conrad Adenauer Foundation, and Uganda Martyrs University. It was a simple question. Can democracy be taught? That was the question. And of course, the university is built to answer questions. Or at least to attempt to answer questions. Because some questions are too difficult. Do you remember the one that Pontius Pilate asked, what is truth? But he had already been given the answer. But still he asked. The person on trial had been saying, I'm the way, the truth, yes. And then he still asked, what is truth? So the university asked, can democracy be taught? So we came here as the guinea pigs in the laboratory. I think we haven't done badly. One of the alumnus who have not named is the Minister of State for Works, Musa Ichwero. A rebel with the LRA. Then
Victor News, Uganda Sigadiano, Nkozi, Uganda Martyrs, University, graduation ceremony.
And I'm here, still trying to apply that experiment. So, in that same spirit, we acknowledge the contributions of the previous generations that have made today possible. We owe them a debt of gratitude. Have looked back, but today we must look forward. Of this university is Catholic. Catholic means universal. And the university is about universal knowledge, which is a place of free thinking, free inquiry, free research, free expression. If you cannot tolerate that, don't open universities. Because that's exactly what universities are supposed to do. Universities are not even governments. And progress, if you don't, it must be born small and then it grows organically. That's the story of Uganda Martyrs University. It started small. Ask yourselves, dear graduates, what will you look like after 30 years? Will you look like the ruins of Monomotapa? Or the Coliseum? Take care of your body, don't abuse it. Because the mind that has been trained with a lot of investment from Uganda Martyrs University needs a healthy body. Cultivate your mind, because the university expects you to think for yourself. That is the greatest gift Uganda Martyrs gives, for students to think for themselves. There is no spoon feeding here unless it started after we left. The professor comes in and just has a conversation with you. Unlike those who come and say, open your books, then the professor dictates notes. The brain must not be like a sponge which soaks up anything. The brain must be like a sieve, which throws away what is useless and retains only what is useful. Build your social skills when you are here. Make friends. it is working. In other words, in words which are not mine, dig your well before you are thirsty. How many of you even know the alumni who are here? You are looking for jobs. There are big people everywhere. And when you go and introduce yourself, we open doors for you. Above all, nurture yourself spiritually. I look forward to the day when that award for the chaplaincy is also introduced for the lady. This is a form of reading. To only give it to the ordained. Also deserving. The Uganda Martyrs were not priests actually. They were laity. They were ordinary people who had extraordinary faith. And they are our patron saints. By the way, even as politicians, we were finally given the patron saint. Though the standard is so high. St. Thomas More, who defied the king also, and his head was cut off. Read a book called The Man for All Seasons by Robert Bolt. I'll one day come and talk to you about him. I think he's right to quote the cardinal. I will just quote a professor. Questions define the university as follows. A university is a community of scholars. It is not a kindergarten. It is not a club. It is not a reform school. It is not a political party. It is not an agency of propaganda. A university is not to reform them or amuse them or make them expert technicians in any field. It is to teach them to think, if that is possible, and to think always for themselves. Democratic government rests on the notion that the citizens will think for themselves. It is of the highest importance that there should be some place where they can learn how to do it. One is expected to give some message, which is the summary of his entire effort at making a speech. My message is simple. You are graduating from people without degrees to people with degrees. Today, I also urge you to have the other graduation. To graduate from being merely concerned citizens to being involved citizens. Many of you don't want to be involved in the affairs of the country. And many of you think you don't have the advantages. Many of you think that because of your backgrounds, you may not achieve what others have achieved. My little mother left me at the age of 8 months and went. And I spent several hours alone. Because of the kindness of very many people. Other people will call her stepmother. But I can't find myself saying such a word for the woman called Namio, who was my mother, who taught me Uganda, and brought me up as if she had carried me in her womb. The Karuma Falls. Because in 1967, infant mortality rate was very high. He didn't know whether it was worthwhile handing me over to anybody. But he changed his mind. Thank God. And I grew up in a deep village where we would see cars probably once every 2 months. We stopped in P6. After P6, the school is finished. I learned to mend shoes. I was a cobbler. Very good one. And you get 1 shilling for the work, which was enough to buy a cluster of bananas. I became an apprentice to a bicycle repairer. There were no car garages anyway. I Commander King Smith. Very early. I even skipped some classes. For another 2 years, I rebelled. So my father took me to Uganda College. I hear someone but that must be him. I don't even have to look. So, my first day in S3 South, the class surrounded me and addressed me in the following words. Norbert Mao, welcome to Nambiango College. You must know that you are the back floor. You are not fit to be among us, the cream of the cream. Therefore, we are happy to announce to you that the last position in class will be yours permanently until you leave. Nobody will compete with you, Norbert Mao. You don't even have to put in any effort because it is yours.
Victor News Uganda, Gerard Wano, Nkozi, Uganda Martyrs University, graduation ceremony.
Thank you very much.
Now the speech from the guest Minister of Justice. Now,
graduates, there are things which are in your hands. There are things which are not in your hands. And once you know the difference, you will focus on the things that are in your hands, rather than worrying about the things which are not in your hands. Life can be like a game of cards. I know some people who are given very good cards, then they play them so badly that they lose and everybody wonders what happened. And then there are some dropouts here from very well-to-do families. They come here. Who used to work at a local seminary, he had the privilege of getting those old magazines. People use them for covering exercise books. I used to read them. That's where I read about the civil rights movement, Muhammad Ali. I was reading about Vietnam War, the world, just like our motto says. So, the former presidential candidate Jesse Jackson was told by swooning admirers when he was contesting for president in 1984, Mr. Jackson, you are running for the White House. He paused and said, excuse me, the house I'm running from. I'm sure all of us here have our stories. I just wanted to share mine, and all your stories are exciting. Glance once in a while at the little village you are coming from. Because it makes a difference. I want you to think big. That's the point I'm making. Don't doubt what you have. The master's. By the way, I graduated from here twice. I did a master's degree in development studies, but I'm a lawyer. I thought I knew where to find the law. I don't need to go to school again. When Mr. Yuma had already prepared, you were just going to receive this letter, and you join a very bad company of people who never finish. So he said, you can ask your name here since you are too busy talking a lot in politics. So I thanked him very much. I think it was Lucy who gave me a piece of paper on which to write my petition there and then. It was the fastest trial in history. I was tried, sentenced,
Uganda,
and then pardoned.
Uganda Martyrs University, Nkozi, so that in Okota, district
I was sentenced to discontinuation. Then I was pardoned. In other words, the execution of the sentence was suspended. It exists in the law. I graduated. Then I came and threatened to start a PhD. I've been threatening for many years. Today now I run out of excuses because I told Professor Diaz, I said, I will do a PhD if you promise to supervise me. Say, yes, I'll supervise you. So, dear friends, I'm now in big trouble. I may join the glorious company of those whose PhDs are known as ABDs, all but dissertation. You keep saying I'm working on my dissertation, but the PhD never comes. I hope, therefore, with these words, you are consoled about the world you are going into. Let your body carry your well-educated heads. Let your mind not be like an uncultivated bush. Weed it often, water it with good knowledge. Develop the social skills, make friends. Above all, connect with the Creator. Have that. Then you will become a four-square citizen. I congratulate Uganda Martyrs again on its 30th anniversary. The infant mortality rate of institutions is very high. You have survived the 6-year diseases in the past 5 years. The whooping cough, malaria, diphtheria, and so on can kill institutions. And that vaccine that in 2056, I am here to escort my grandchildren, graduating maybe with masters or PhD. I expect to escort my grandchildren here also. So let's celebrate who we are. May God bless you all. But our guest of honor, I think he has really elevated there to the real deal now. We are getting there. May I very quickly invite the vice.
Thanking you in words materially. And I would like to invite that is very inspiring to our graduates today.
Tonus Uganda Segwajirad wano ku Uganda Martyrs University.
Their paths should not determine their future.
Honorable.
Start graduating graduates. May I now take this pleasure to invite the academic.
I congratulate you upon the achievements. Upon all of you to come back. The PhDs, you can join the staff. Actually, if you want. Secondly, I would like to advise all of you that university. I will now invite the director, Graduate School, Research and Enterprise.
Significantly improved soil pH and mineral content. The study concluded that this treatment supplemented with low on farm waste. The methodology followed a baseline and residual nutrient analysis and gas analysis to determine the residual nutrient and greenhouse gas content of farm waste. Results indicated that the nutrients found in these farm wastes were mainly carbon, sea level, and be introduced to all levels of curricula in the education system for the achievement of SDG 13. Of Excellence for Agroecology and Life Food System, Professor Charles Sechewa.
Entrusted to me, I confer to you the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy in Agroecology and Food Systems of Uganda Martyrs University.
Is Mr. Abdullahi Fofana Fall. Fungi of soils from the influence of AMF isolate and AMF results showed that 19 AMF influenced by soil pH and mineral content and phosphorus content. The study recommended that adaptation of AMF in maize farming system.
Suga, Nanyonga Rosemary, Ogwan David, Oleke Esther, Master of Science in Monitoring and Evaluation, Akiru Josephine, Baingana Benjamin, Omoding Olego Robert, Omoding Andrew Gerard, Opio Tony, Otuna George, Simbwa Henry, Tema Zubairi, Tumwesi Jamaiko, Tumwine Mzamiru, Wadimba Joseph.